Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another episode of Boxing Rampage, episode 35. I'm your host, JC, accompanied by
Robert Guerrero.
Today's episode, we have a lot to cover. Obviously, there's a lot of fights coming up this next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. We'll be covering the fights that passed this weekend. Predictions for Mikey Garcia, Adrian Broner, Big Baby against El Gallo Negro, and obviously Jermell Charlo versus what's this guy's name from Argentina? Jorge Highland prediction. So obviously other boxing news and rumors as well. So let's jump right into it. Let's just cover the fights last week. Let's start right off with the Robert Guerrero versus Omar Figueroa. No questions there. Obviously he's announced his retirement. Any thoughts?
About the fight or about him retiring?
Let's start about the fight first, and then
about the fight. What can I say? I mean, none of them looked good, even though that Figueroa got the stoppage and was just catching him with the same uppercut over and over again. Figueroa didn't look in shape. I think
looks soft.
Yeah, really soft in his lower body, and I don't know. I mean. It was a short fight. It was what, 3 rounds?
After the fourth, they basically stopped.
Yeah, it wasn't really much to gather. I see, Figueroa knew what he came in for. Guerrero was, he's a shell of himself, and I'm glad that he made the right decision and retired, man. I felt bad for the way he went out, and I suffered because I know he got a beautiful family. They gone through a lot, and I didn't want him to see him go this way, because I followed his career since lightweight, and I didn't want to see him go this way, but he kept fighting, and he didn't want to admit that he wasn't up there anymore. Like, if y'all heard his tweets and all the messages he put out there, I'm gonna come back. I still got a lot left, and
he said he was gonna come back as a boxer too. I noticed that in a lot of the fights he was just brawling, and I guess a lot of times the Robert Guerrero of the old, when he was in the lightweight division, he really had a good jab. He had a sick jab. He would stick out there. But as he moved up to 47, you noticed that he wouldn't use a jab. He was just trying to hook to the body, hook to the head, and just trying to overpower his opponents. But in this fight, he went back to boxing. Obviously, very hard with a guy like Figueroa. But do you see this as Omar is a very good opponent, or do you just see it's just not the best Guerrero we had?
I mean, think about it. Figueroa was able to knock him out. Something that Keith Thurman couldn't do, Garcia couldn't do. The guy who got closer to was Diego Peralta, but Argentinian guy, usually, and he's not known as punches. So it could have been a mix of both. You just catch him at the right time and just overwhelm him with punches. And that uppercut, which and his head was just flipping back. It was awful. Like
equilibrium was off and everything.
All that. So, like, you saw when he got up that he didn't want to continue, but he didn't want to look at as a quitter. So
he went out on his shield, man. He went out fighting. You noticed the last round when the ref was checking him, he went out with a vengeance. He just went out to destroy. I was like, oh man, this guy. I remember Virgil Hunter was like, man, he's going out the wrong way. He's just trying to box and take time off, but he just ran out there and he put the attack on.
He knew that. It's like when you know that you gotta go out for that knockout.
Like in the movies, when they got the battleship, he's like, "There's too many of them." It's like, that's what I thought of when I saw Guerrero. I was like, he's not gonna make it out. I'm sorry, guys, bad analogy, but that's what I thought of. He's gonna go down.
He was gonna go down. He's gonna leave it on the ring. That's because he knew. He was like, these guys
not gonna make it out of this shit.
Yeah. So he let me leave it on the ring, and that's what he did. But I mean, Figueroa is planning on going down to 140. I think he'll do good. He's still young. He just gotta commit to boxing. If he's able to do that, take a couple of tune-up fights, and then show us what he still have, and just commit to the sport if you're gonna do so. But overall, I think as much as people criticize it, for me it was a good fight. I mean,
I agree. Inside fighting,
it was good, and freaking it ended on a knockout. What more you can expect? I mean, all right, it's true. They didn't look as good as they should, but
exciting.
Yeah, it's still exciting, man. I enjoyed the fight.
All Next fight we're gonna recap on. This is a prediction that I got wrong. I apologize. Is the Shawnee Moynihan versus Marcus Brown fight? Man, Marcus Brown. I think that shot, I believe it was a left hand he threw out. I think it was in the first round. Just pretty much polarized the whole fight. It ended in the second round. I didn't see that coming. Obviously, that offset everything. There's no way Moynihan would have came back from that, and obviously the ref stopped it after the second round. Any thoughts?
I think that out of the whole boxing society, the only people that picked Moynihan to win was us and his family. But we never thought it was gonna go like this. So basically, what we thought.
Well, he was the A side on the card. I mean,
yeah,
he was the favorite, and obviously the other things I mentioned with Joe Smith. So I kind of thought it was gonna come together.
Like he never been knocked out. That's the thing. You would expect, because I know like Moynihan like starts slow, but Marcus Brown knew this and took advantage of it.
They have sparred in the past.
Yeah, so they know each other. They're friends. But my thought, and y'all go back and listen to it. I knew it was gonna go. My thought was gonna go to decision. It was gonna be a close fight, and Moynihan was gonna get it because it was in his hometown. You hold a crowd when he came out. Basically, they were supporting him. But I never thought that he was gonna get like taken out like that. I mean, either Brown is improving in every fight, or Moynihan is not the guy who we thought he was. I mean,
well, the hot round fight was an off fight.
Or yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was a great fight. Marcus Brown improved. He looked great. He timed him well. He was patient. He looked awesome. And big ups to Brown on that fight.
All right. And just to jump into that kind of segued into all of it too. What do you think of the Joe Smith versus Sullivan Barrera fight? And also, that's a fight that I got wrong. Those are two fights I got wrong for the night. I really wanted both of them to win so they could have a battle in Long Island, but I guess it's not gonna happen. But you mentioned something really good now, which is, I'll let you touch on that.
They both come out and lost. It's still a fight that's sellable in Long Island. I think it's still a good fight. The way I saw it, this is the way I predicted it. I think that Guerrero is the better boxer. Joe did catch him with a good punch, and I mean, Guerrero did what he was supposed to.
Supposedly he broke his jaw.
Supposedly, but I don't know. I think that is, for me, it's just excuses. Because the thing is, they didn't say nothing right after the fight.
It sounded like something like Emmanuel Dapper would say with that shoulder.
Listen, you don't say nothing. I didn't hear anything that came after the.
I'm gonna get my drink. Keep talking.
Okay. I didn't hear anything that came after the press conference, like the post-fight press conference. It came on. I heard about it on Monday, which was kind of odd. Usually like people will say something on right after the fight. I fractured my jaw, or I feel to put up with an excuse. But I heard about it on Monday, so. Maybe if it's true, apologize ahead of time. But for me, it's just probably an excuse of why he wasn't performing. The ref came to his corner and asked him, "Hey, you don't look right." But then again, he was just getting outboxed by the better boxer, in my opinion. But overall, a decent fight. They didn't have.
Guerrero was really aggressive in the fight too. He was all over him.
Yeah, for me, he was looking for the knockout. I mean, he had already a two fight knockout streak, so I think he was trying to at least.
Joe Smith that's the only game plan they have for him. Like, just go for the kill, which is not a bad game plan. It's just that Yeah. If I were him, I would have waited. I've noticed a lot of fights where fighters get a knockdown early. I mean, you can look at the War Kovalev. There's someone else I want to mention who had a fight like that. They get a knockdown early in the fight, and then they adjust enough to where they don't get touched again. Yeah. Sometimes getting a knockdown really early in the fight is never a good thing. It's better to get it late. That way they have less power to recover.
Unless you hurt him like real bad, and I didn't think he was really that hurt.
Like in the Shawnee Moynihan thing.
He was kind of hurt, but
he rolled back. He did like a cartwheel or some shit.
It was one of those punches in the head that like you lose.
I think it was a left hook, but he barely touched him.
Yeah. So I don't think he was that hurt. He got back up. He was ready to fight. Other than that one punch, I think he won the rest of the round. I mean, it's still a 10-8 round, but I think. Hey, I mean, like I said, still Joe Smith could fight Shawnee Moynihan, and I think he's still a big name. His team got to select better opponents for him, and I think that fighting Sullivan Barrera was a better option of getting, you know, there's still guys out there that he could still beat. He could still be a big name at the light heavyweight. But yeah, overall, great performance, solid beat.
Okay, so 2 more fights to cover, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Pretty much the Artur Szpilka versus Adam Kownacki. That was a very tense fight. I saw that Kownacki. One thing, I mean, this guy I didn't know a lot before his fight, and what I studied from him, just looking online, it looked kind of hard because I mean, he fought a guy who was a plotter like him type. But what I noticed against Szpilka moves around the ring a lot. There's 2 things I gave this takeaway. The A, Artur Szpilka, I think you mentioned it last time, that maybe mentally he was still hurt from the Deontay Wilder knockout. Or what I saw B from Kownacki is that he's very solid. He doesn't overreach. He's not the fastest guy, but he's very fundamental, very good foot placement. Doesn't overreach on the shots, and I just felt it was a matter of time. But it could be either or. It's kind of hard. I feel like the jury's still out on Kownacki. He is a new addition to the heavyweights. But what do you think of that fight?
I think I don't know. Szpilka didn't look. He didn't look great. I mean, he came out moving around, which is pretty good. A lot of moving, and I think he got at some point he got touched and he was like, he left everything out there, and then he got touched and he was like, I don't even want to do this, because when he got stopped, he just put his hand down. He was like, it hit me. Like it was weird. It was odd, you know. But basically, babyface positioned himself to fight Deontay Wilder probably in the future. Impressive knockout, basically. But then again, you know, when the guy have his hands down, he's not protecting himself. He's just like, hey, I just don't want to deal with this, you know. Unload on me, please.
I hear you. So last segment we have to cover is pretty much the Miguel Berchelt versus Takashi Miura. Phenomenal fight. That motherfucker Miura, excuse the language, is like Jason or the Terminator. Like, how many times are you trying to put him away? He's like, and the shot, he kept coming around with the right hand. He was like with the overhand right, and he would throw it, and Berchelt was waiting for it. But sometimes it's like, damn, that overhand right is gonna land. It's like Miura just keeps throwing it. It's gonna land, but it landed. But luckily, it didn't land a lot. But I had Berchelt winning that fight. But what can you take away from that? What do you see?
I think, you know, everybody who was expecting a fight of the caliber, you know, is disappointed at this point. Why? Because Berchelt. The thing about Berchelt Miguel is that he got 1 loss, and his losses came out of a knockout. So he know that Miura could punch. So what he want to do is box this guy. This guy got a vicious punch to the body, and you don't want him to give him that opening for that punch, you know. So he decided to just box him, use his range, and he fight beautifully, you know. I don't think he'll do that great against the top guys like Lomachenko.
You think Orlando Salido or rematch with Francisco Vargas?
Yeah, I think he could beat Salido if he decided to fight it the same way, but because Salido didn't look good in his last fight, he got knocked down, and Salido's a guy that is on his way out. Salido turned down the Lomachenko fight. There was a negotiation for Tank Davis. That's not happening either. So this is a great opportunity for Berchelt. Like, take the fight with Salido. If Salido still have some goods in him, it's gonna be a real difficult fight. But like, I believe he's on his way out. I think that Berchelt will edge the fight. But overall, it was a decent card. Not what we expected, but Berchelt moved on and got the W.
Okay, that's good. So folks, stay tuned for the next segment. We'll be discussing, obviously, boxing news and highlights, and also we'll be covering a fight prediction. So stay tuned.